Have you ever wondered what the best Minecraft villager was?
Eat a tree from... Did you eat?
Well, go fuck yourself, cause today, that's what we're gonna be looking at. So to give a quick rundown on how I rank the villagers, each villager has 5 levels of trading, which are Novice, Apprentice, Journeyman, Expert, and Master. They get a 2 trade maximum per level, and the trades are put into 3 categories, which are the money-making trades, the recurring purchases, and the one-time purchases. For the money-making trades, I gave them points based on how useful they are early game, mid game, and late game. They get a maximum of 10 points per each category. For recurring purchases, it gets a maximum of 20 points. And for one-time purchases, it gets a maximum of 15 points. Alright, now let's go meet the villagers. Alright, they're just in here. Just gotta break this, go down the secret hatch. Hey.
2 hours later.
So, wonderful weather we're having.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, finally, we made it to the bottom. Now we just gotta... That was the wrong house. Alright, now this should be the right house. Alright, and here we are. Oh my god, they're so fucking loud! Ah, much better. Anybody else? Okay, let's move on to the video. Starting off our list in 15th place, we're gonna need to bring out the short bus, cause we got the Nitwit. So the Nitwit is just like a black chick from Chicago, incapable of getting a job and only good for making babies. Like it doesn't matter what you do, you hand this motherfucker a job application, he crumbles it up and tosses it away. That's why this motherfucker got no job, no trades, and probably no emeralds since he's on welfare. At number 14, we have the leather worker. So the leather worker only has 3 somewhat useful trades. We have leather to emerald, rabbit hide to emerald, and emerald to saddle. For leather to emerald, since it's a money making trade, it is broken down into those 3 categories of early, mid, to late game. For early game it gets 4 points since you can make a pretty easy cow farm, but there are better options out there. Mid game it gets 3 points because it's kind of the same thing, but your options begin to expand more. And late game, it gets 1 point since by this point you should have automatic farms. It's the same thing for rabbit hide, it gets 8 points as well. And for emerald to saddle, I gave it 2 points out of 15 since saddles are pretty easy to find and a saddle overall just isn't too useful. So that brings the leather worker's point total to 18 points. At number 13 we have the fisherman. So the fisherman is actually similar to the leather worker, in which it only had 3 somewhat useful trades. Those trades were string to emerald, coal to emerald, and boat to emerald. For a string to emerald, early game I gave it 0 points, mid game I gave it 4 points, and late game I gave it 2 points, giving it 6 points for that trade. For coal to emerald, early game I gave it 2 points since coal is often better used elsewhere besides trading early game. Mid game I gave 5 points since by this time you probably have a fortune pickaxe and it's going to be a little bit grindy, but you can still get a decent amount to trade with. And in the late game I gave it 7 points since you are able to make a coal farm using wither skeletons, but that does take a lot of time. So that brought its total to 14 points for that trade. For bolt to emerald, early game I gave it 4 points, mid game 3 points, and late game 2 points, giving it 9 points for that trade, bringing the total to 29 points. At number 12 we have the Monopoly Man. So the cartographer had 4 useful trades. That was paper to emerald, glass pane to emerald, emerald plus compass to ocean explorer map, and emerald plus compass to woodland explorer map. For paper to emerald, early game I gave it 8 points since it's very easy to farm. For mid game I gave it 9 points because it is very easy to make an auto farm with sugarcane. And for late game I gave it 8 out of 10 since it's still a really good farm, it's just not as fast as others. For glass pane to emerald, early game I gave it 0 out of 10 points since you don't want to be smelting sand, you want to use your coal for other things. Mid game I gave it 7 out of 10 since you probably have more coal and it is very easy to mine sand with the efficiency 5. In late game, I gave it 4 out of 10 since you probably already have auto farms, making this one a lot less useful. For Emerald and Compass to Ocean Explorer map, I gave it 4 points since ocean monuments are very easy to find. And then for Emerald and Compass to Woodland Explorer map, I gave it 6 points since woodland mansions are very hard to find, but they're not very useful. So that brings the cartographer's total to 46 points. He might have gotten more points if he sold a map to help me find some bitches. Up next, we have a tie for 10th place between the Fletcher and the Weaponsmith. Just ignore what's happening behind me. We're gonna have a little fun later. Starting off with the Fletcher, it had 4 useful trades, which were Stick to Emerald, Emerald to Arrow, Spider Jizz to Emerald, and Feather to Emerald. So for Stick to Emerald, early game I gave it 7 out of 10 points since mining wood is pretty easy, but it can take a little bit of time. Mid game I gave it 9 out of 10 since you probably have efficiency, making it a lot quicker. And late game I gave it 8 out of 10 since it's not automatic farm, but it is a pretty quick process, giving it a total of 24 points for this trade. Emerald to Arrow, I gave it 16 points since making arrows can be pretty grindy, so being able to purchase them is pretty good. String to Emerald, 13 points. And Feather to Emerald, since it's very similar to Leather to Emerald, I gave it 8 points. This gives the Fletcher a point total of 61 points. Moving on to the Weaponsmith, it had 4 trades that were useful, which were Coal to Emerald, Iron Ingot to Emerald, Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Axe, and Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Sword. For Coal to Emerald, we have 14 points. For Iron to Emerald, early game I gave it 1 point since you want to use your iron for anything else other than trading. Mid game I gave it 10 points since you probably have an iron farm, and iron farms are usually pretty efficient. And late game I gave it 10 points as well since the iron farm doesn't really lose its efficiency, it's still a good option. For Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Axe, I gave it 13 out of 15, and for Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Sword, I also gave it 13 to 15, which put the Weaponsmith's total at 61 points. At number 9, we have the Catholic Priest. So besides touching little kids, the Catholic Priest had 7 useful trades, which were Rotten Flesh to Emerald, Gold Ingot to Emerald, Emerald to Glowstone, Glass Bottle to Emerald, Emerald to Ender Pearl, Nether Wart to Emerald, and Emerald to Bottle of Enchanting. So Rotten Flesh to Emerald, early game 0 out of 10, mid game 6 out of 10, and late game 4 out of 10. Gold Ingot, early game 0 out of 10, mid game 0 out of 10, because gold has a lot of uses and you probably don't want to use it for trading. But then late game you probably have a piglin farm, so 10 out of 10 points. Emerald to Glowstone, 5 out of 15 points since I do use Glowstone a decent bit, but it's not very hard to get on your own. Glass Bottle to Emerald, I gave it the same amount of points as Glass Panes, so 11 points. Emerald to Ender Pearl, I gave it 9 out of 15 points since emeralds are pretty easy to find, but being able to trade for them makes it a whole lot easier, and you probably only need to get them once. Nether Wart to Emerald, early game, 0 out of 10 points since you're not in the nether early game. Mid, 8 out of 10 points since a Nether Wart farm is very easy to use. And late game, 6 out of 10 points since I didn't see any automatic farms for Nether Wart. And then Emerald to Bottle of Enchanting, I gave it 3 out of 20 points since XP farms are pretty easy to make. That brings the cleric's total to 62 points. At number 8, we have the villager whose workstation is the Transgendifier. We have the Mason. So the trades we'll be talking about for the Mason are Clay Ball to Emerald, Stone to Emerald, Granite to Emerald, Andesite to Emerald, and Nether Quartz to Emerald. Clay Ball to Emerald is a pretty useless trade, so early game it got 2 out of 10 points, mid game 1 out of 10 points, and late game 0 out of 10 points, giving it a total of 3 points. Stone to Emerald, early game, I gave it 2 out of 10 points since you probably don't want to use all your coal to smelt the cobblestone you get. Mid game, I gave it 6 out of 10 points since you might have Silk Touch, but mining it can be a bit grindy. Late game, I gave it 8 out of 10 points since you probably have a beacon giving you haste 2, which makes it really easy to farm. Giving Stone to Emerald, 16 points. Granite to Emerald, early game, I gave it 4 out of 10 points since it is really easy to mine, but you might want to use the blocks for farms. Mid game, I give it 8 out of 10 points since it's the same thing as the stone block, it's just you'll probably use it less, so you'll trade it more often. And then late game, 8 out of 10 points because it's the same as stone. Andesite, it has 20 points as well, just like granite. Nether Quartz Emerald, early game, 0 out of 10. You're not going to be in the nether early game.
Say you, bucko. Are you so? Give me the wood. Give me the wood. Pause. Oh my god, yes! Yes, so fucking easy. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Door. Come here, buddy. Okay. Uh-oh. Shit. Ha! Got it, buddy. You can't kill me. Give me that sword. 360. Get on you. Oh my god. The gravel. Okay. Give me the flint. Give me the flint. Give me the flint. Give me the fucking flint. Come, son of a bitch. Give me the flint. Oh my fucking god. Yes. There we go. Oh, yes. No. Yes. Oh, so fucking easy. I fucking told you. It's so fucking easy.
Okay. Anyways, mid game, 4 out of 10. It's pretty useful for anything else other than trading. In the late game, 1 out of 10 since a lot of automatic farms require nether quartz for the redstone. So that gives this one a total of 5 points. Which brings the Mason's total to 64 points. At 6th place, we have a tie between the Toolsmith and the Unemployed Villager. Starting with the Unemployed Villager, I gave you the average of all the villagers' points since you can turn it into any type of villager you want, which gave it 68 points. Then for the Toolsmith, we have 6 useful trades. Coal to Emerald, Iron Ingot to Emerald, Emerald to Diamond Hoe, Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Axe, Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Shovel, and Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Pickaxe. Coal to Emerald, we have 14 points. Iron Ingot to Emerald, we have 21 points. For Emerald to Diamond Hoe, I gave it 3 out of 15 points since hoes ain't shit. Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Axe, I gave it 10 out of 15 points since it is a pretty useful trade, but making diamond axes isn't very hard. Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Shovel, I also gave it 10 out of 15 points. And then Emerald to Enchanted Diamond Pickaxe, I gave it 10 out of 15 points as well, which gives the Toolsmith 68 points. At number 4, we have the final tie between the Shepherd and the Butcher. Starting off with the Shepherd, we have 5 useful trades, which were White Wool to Emerald, Black Wool to Emerald, White Dye to Emerald, Green Dye to Emerald, and Blue Dye to Emerald. So White Wool to Emerald, early game, 5 out of 10 points since White Wool is very easy to farm. All you need is just a pair of shears and you're good. Mid game, 7 out of 10 since it is pretty easy to make an automatic farm for sheep, but there are definitely better farms out there. And then late game, 6 out of 10 since it is still a decent farm, but there are definitely better farms as you get on later in the game, which gave it 18 points. Black Wool to Emerald, same thing, 18 points. White Dye to Emerald, early game I gave it 0 out of 10 points since bone meal isn't too easy to come by. Mid game I gave it 0 out of 10 points as well since you probably want to use your bone meal for other things. And then late game I gave it 9 out of 10 points since the Wither Skeleton farm produces a lot of bones. Green Dye to Emerald, early game I gave it 8 out of 10 points since an automatic cactus farm is probably the easiest farm you can make, but it does require a decent amount of iron for the hoppers and you have to use a lot of coal. Mid game I gave it 10 out of 10 points since you probably have enough iron for hoppers and auto smelters. And then late game I gave it 10 out of 10 points because it is a pretty easy and quick automatic farm to make, giving Green Dye to Emerald 28 points. Blue Dye to Emerald, early game it gets 5 out of 10 points since Lapis Lazuli is pretty plentiful. Mid game 4 out of 10 points since you're probably going to start enchanting your tools with Lapis instead of trading. In the late game 3 out of 10 since you'll probably only be able to get the Lapis from mining, And there are definitely a bunch of other farms that are a lot more efficient than mining lapis, which gave that trade 12 points, putting the shepherd at 85 points total. Then moving on to the butcher, we have 7 useful trades, which were raw chicken to emerald, raw pork chop to emerald, coal to emerald, raw mutton to emerald, raw beef to emerald, dried kelp block to emerald, and sweet berries to emerald. For raw chicken to emerald, early game, I gave it 4 out of 10 points since chicken farms are pretty easy to make, but you probably want to eat that food instead of trading it. Mid game, 3 out of 10 since you probably have some better farms by this point. And in the late game, 1 out of 10. It's just not worth it. Which gives raw chicken to emerald 8 points. Raw pork chop to emerald also has 8 points. It's pretty much the same thing. Coal to emerald, 14 points. Raw mutton to emerald, 8 points. Raw beef to emerald, 8 points. Dried kelp block to emerald, early game, I gave it 3 out of 10 points since kelp farms are decent, but they require a lot of coal. Mid game, 7 out of 10 since you probably have the coal you need and you have the ability to make it an automatic farm. And in the late game, 6 out of 10 because later on there are definitely better farms out there. Sweet berries to emerald, early game, I give it 10 out of 10 since sweet berries are pretty easy to farm and you don't need to replant them. Mid game, I gave it 7 out of 10 since you probably have some more automatic farms going on. And in the late game, 6 out of 10 because it's the same thing. That gives the sweet berries 23 points, which puts the butcher's total to 85 points. At number 3 we have the armor. So the armor had 6 useful trades, which were coal to emerald, iron ingot to emerald, emerald to diamond leggings, emerald to diamond boots, emerald to diamond helmet, and emerald to diamond chest plate. Coal to emerald we have 14 points, iron ingot to emerald 21 points. For emerald to diamond leggings, I gave it 13 out of 15 because oftentimes I end up buying diamond armor from villagers before I even craft them. Emerald to diamond boots, I gave it 13 out of 15 as well. Emerald to diamond helmet, 13 out of 15. And emerald to diamond chestplate, 13 out of 15, which gave the armor 87 points. At number 2, we have the nerd.
Oh, you think this is fucking funny?
Yes. Anyways, so the librarian had 7 useful trades, 4 of which were emerald plus book to enchanted book. The other 3 were emerald to bookshelf, book to emerald, and emerald to name tag. For the first emerald plus book to enchanted book, I gave it 20 out of 20 points since you can choose whatever enchanted book you want. You just have to reset the villager until you get it. For emerald to bookshelf, I gave it 13 out of 20 points, which I will explain on the next trade. Book to emerald, early game, I gave it 0 out of 10 points since you probably don't have the emeralds to buy the bookshelves to do this little cycle where you get the bookshelf, you mine it for the books, and then you trade the books for emeralds to buy more bookshelves. Mid game, I gave it 8 out of 10 since that's when you can probably start doing that cycle. And in late game, I gave it 5 out of 10 since this becomes a grind after a while. That gives this trade 13 points. For the other 3 emerald plus book to enchanted books, I gave it 12 out of 20 points since they can be useful, but it's pretty random on what you'll get. And then for emerald to name tag, I gave it 15 out of 20 points since name tags are used in a lot of farms. That gives the librarian 97 points. Finally, in the number 1 spot for the best villager, we have the farmer. So the farmer actually had only 5 useful trades, which were potato to emerald, carrot to emerald, pumpkin to emerald, melon to emerald, and emerald to golden carrot. So for potato to emerald, early game, I gave it 10 out of 10 because it's a very easy thing to farm. Mid game, I gave it 9 out of 10 because you start getting more automatic farms, but it's still a pretty good option. And late game, 7 out of 10 because your automatic farms begin to overtake it. Giving it 26 points. Carrot to emerald, I got the same thing, 26 points. Pumpkin emerald, early game, 10 out of 10. It's the same thing with potato and carrot. Mid game, 8 out of 10 because it does require axes, so it's a little bit slower than potato and carrot. And a late game, 7 out of 10, same reasoning as potato and carrot. Melon to emerald, early game, I gave it 7 out of 10 because without silk touch it makes the process of farming the melon a bit messier. Mid game, I gave it 8 out of 10 because it probably has silk touch, which just makes it the same as pumpkin. And the late game, 7 out of 10 because it's the same as pumpkin. Emerald to golden carrot, I gave it 20 out of 20 points because carrot is one of the best, if not the best food in Minecraft, which gave the farmer a total of 119 points. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. While editing, I did notice one little mistake. For the weaponsmith, I gave the diamond sword and diamond axe 13 when I meant to give it 10. So technically, the weaponsmith is 6 points below the Fletcher. But besides that, I think the video turned out pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.